What this video is going to do is help you to identify your weak points within your form and technique, because that is where you're going to break down most often that it's going to lead to your trip-ups. So let's jump into these. The first thing you need to look for is to see if your hands rise while you're jumping. If your hands rise out to the sides, it takes the emphasis of rope rotation off the wrists, causing excess arm movement. It also shortens your rope as you spread your arms wider. This creates a lot of inconsistencies and will lead to more trip-ups. Now, it's not always both hands that are drifting out of position. Sometimes it's just one hand, so if one hand starts to drift out to the side, it will shift the middle loop of the rope over to the side of the drifting hand. This drags the rope into the opposite foot. Now, these things are not always something that you just start out doing. It can sneak up on you as you fatigue, so identify the drifting hand and make sure that you stay symmetrical. Here is an example of one hand drifting up instead of out to the side. This affects the rope similarly, as it again shifts the middle of the rope to the side of the drifting hand, throwing the rope off axis and into the opposite foot. As you can see, the amount of hand drift doesn't have to be very much to create a trip up. So you need to learn to look very closely when reviewing your form. Here is an example of your hands drifting forwards. This causes the rope to start hitting the ground further out in front of you and eventually bouncing up into your feet. This can happen a lot faster if you are already using a longer rope. Focus on keeping your hands right on the frontal plane of your hips. You can make small adjustments from there. Here is the opposite. If your hands drift backwards, the rope will eventually not be able to get under your feet, but instead collide directly into your toes. So if your rope is not making contact with the ground and is hitting your feet, try moving your hands forward a little bit. Here is a very common problem, and that is having one or two stiff wrists. The wrist should be what is driving rope rotation. If one is stiff, it will throw off the axis of rotation. You may get by with this at slower speeds, but as soon as you try to add speed, it will cause trip-ups. If you notice this problem, really focus on over-exaggerating small wrist circles with the affected side or sides. This will help you break this habit. Alright, so your assignment is to find out which one of these weaknesses is most prominent in your form and technique. What breaks down most often for you? Because once you find that out, now you know what to look for every single time the trip-ups start to happen. If you want some new skills to learn, check out these ones I have linked right over here. Check out that Start Here playlist. I also have it linked down below. I will see you in the next video.